The introduction of the organic souls in here also brought about the rise in technology of the clones to counteract the plan of the life forces. That became largely a side issue as more prevalent things were required. Each successive decade since 1960 brought in improved conditions for the organic souls, but also brought in a heightened increase in countermeasures to block those from awakening and remembering their role in the plan. The 1960s brought in the New Age program, Free Love, which is not free at all, and the devastating drug program. There was a reason it increased that decade. 1970s just enhanced it, and 1980s saw a marked increase in music frequencies being destroyed to again tip the balance in their favour. 1990s brought in the tech to further take away the souls from their mission, and distraction-based tech and items were introduced, which included fear programs called News, no longer at 6 and 10 p.m, but all day, every day, in an attempt to control the narrative. From 2000 onwards, souls started coming in with more developed soul growth, and also extra strands of DNA switched on, designed to expand out across the globe and interact on a subconscious level with all organic human souls. They were curtailed again with the think tank created dis-ease called ADHD. There is no such thing as ADHD. They are diagnosing higher-end children with it to stifle their abilities and the frequency they resonate at, with yet again drugs like Ritalin, which is a poison, and also a brain inhibitor. It is also a common factor of school shootings as well. Most who did that were on Ritalin. So clearly this has psychotic effects, and those with higher levels of psychosis are rendered obsolete in developing on a soul or DNA level. Because of the looking glass technology, they started the ADHD program and Ritalin in the early 1980s. By 1985, there were 500,000 children diagnosed with it. 14 years later, in 1999, it was 7 million. In America alone, there was 6.1 million children in 2016 diagnosed with it. Why is America targeted more than other countries? Because here is the final battlefield in this war of light and dark, is why. A 43% increase since 2003 in America, and 11% of all American children are now diagnosed with this fake disease, 400,000 of which are under the age of 5. Male children are 350% more likely to be diagnosed with it than females, which is suggestive of the earlier piece that they had control of the females already with the moon binding. To prepare more for this increase, and with the year 2000 looming, the Dark Force think tanks went into overdrive, with mental health hospitals and institutes going up and staffed faster than normal hospitals. Langley predictably applied most of the grants and the funding for this. And then the seducement kicked in. You're not going to like this next line. In 1991, eligibility rules for federal education grants were changed to provide schools with $400 in annual grant money for each child the school diagnosed with ADHD. Oops. I'm going to repeat that again so it sinks in. In 1991, eligibility rules for federal education grants were changed to provide schools with $400 in annual grant money for each child the school diagnosed with ADHD. That same year, the Department of Education, which means training of animals, which was created in part by the military, US military, as covered in From Russia with Love 7, I think, formally recognised ADHD as a handicap and directed all state education officers to establish procedures to screen and identify ADHD children and provide them with special education and psychological services. As a result, the number of ADHD cases soared again. For money. With more than half of those 7 million children also prescribed Ritalin, the stock market value of its manufacturer, the Swiss pharmaceutical company Novartis, has also soared. The so-called neutral Swiss again. Neutral my ass. Rothschild's psychotic playground is what Switzerland is. Now that company and others are working to introduce a host of new drugs into the classroom, including Prozac and Luvox, which has been approved by the FDA for pediatric use. The FDA, like the World Horror Organization, are both satanic rogue bodies. But the industry was looking for even further growth, as they then started targeting preschool toddlers by the pill brigade. Preschool children being targeted for pills. The use of psychotropic drugs like antidepressants and stimulants in 2 to 4-year-olds doubled or even tripled between 1991 and 1995. All supported by the Fed, which has been very good for the pharmaceutical industry as well. This is why America has one of the highest mental health rates. Not because Americans are mentally unstable, but because they've been drugged. And here's why. Ritalin is known to cause cardiac arrhythmia tachycardia and hypertension, which is ironic as hypertension is one of the original symptoms of the so-called fake disease ADHD, is it not? Ritalin, like cocaine, causes the brain to shrink. Still want to snort? So, if ADHD is a fake disease, what are the causes of the symptoms and hyperactivity these children display? Science, doctors or psychologists will not tell you this, as A, they haven't got a clue, B, they are aware but like the monetary kickbacks, or C, they are aware and are part of the system and subsequent cover-up. There is no D, all of the above. The symptoms these children are experiencing is because the frequency here is so low in comparison from where they came. They have great difficulty adjusting to the frequency here, which is stifling. Mainly because of the background noise here. They came from a place with harmonic frequencies and relaxation-based background noise. And what these children experience is the equivalent of a teacher scratching her nails down a chalkboard all day, every day. It's the same effect. It's irritating and it goes right through you. And this is why they are noisy, to drown out that sound, and run wild and become erratic to keep busy to avoid the background noise. Those children go quiet when around higher vibrational people and energies. They go from boisterous and wild to complete calm. I've witnessed it myself when I was helping a few families with that fake disease. Once they reach puberty, it becomes easier for them to manage the symptoms. And then one just hopes they've not been too damaged by the medications. Ritalin is damaging these children, and the dark forces know it too well what they're doing. If you know someone with ADHD and they are being medicated, please stop them medicating that child. Medicating is poisoning the child, shrinking its brain and destroying the extra developed child's brain. So why did these more developed souls come here from the late 50s, 1960s onwards? Well, it was part of a mission that was to save the people in here and also destroy the system, the dark forces, and their technology to boot. This could not be achieved from outside of here and could only be done from the inside. Previous external fixings made things worse, it seems. And in essence, and also in an amusing sense of irony, these developed souls entered here like a virus and attacked the host from within. It became clear this mission is not about saving the all. It turned into a rescue mission and then a salvage mission. As the full truth of what took place here became all too clear, and of great disappointment. But despite that, they pushed on. The 15% mentioned earlier, these are your 15% organic souls. Organic souls will not be tricked by their zeros and ones game. We are the one on one and with the one. But we are surrounded by programmed bots called Smiths. Engaging them becomes an exercise in low vibration. They are machines. You cannot reason with machines. And recognise that fact is a key to understanding what is and has gone on here. They are called Smiths because it's the most common Western name. Then they tell you to keep in touch with another of the most common names, Jones. All keep up with the Joneses now. That'll be a no. The tech of theirs rendered obsolete has made a big difference here. More than can be realised even by most of our listeners. It laid the path for where we are today. Like I said, event one was, we are all still alive. An achievement in and of itself. But without mainstream media telling you that, it becomes a moot point for many. What other reasons did they come here for? To raise the frequency and be ready for the wave and the return of the source-based energies. Without all the previous work done, those energies would not have been as beneficial. It would have overwhelmed people and sent them spiraling into chaos. Some will argue that has taken place when you look around you, and yes, that is true. But our members were warned of its coming, and many of you took it on board. Or you would all be like those around you as well. The path had to be cleared for the return of the G-Cloud and G-Matter. Many of you have been experiencing this yourselves since we played that note on a show 3 years back now. That cloud is of ultimate benefit to those who did the work, and you are organic. Those who didn't will suffer. The frequency is too high for them to handle, but their struggle and suffering will be short. I did a riddle recently and I tested my own theory that the inorganic veil was collapsing. And could I witness it where the veil is at? And yes, I did. It's at 9,000 feet and fallen. But as above and so below. So it's rising at 9,000 feet also below our feet. As it pushes up and presses down, this will cause a compression point, a bulge of the planet if you will, and increases stress on the plates, mountains and volcanoes. This is the expansion the planet is experiencing, and potentially your GPSs may not be as accurate as you thought. The planet is shifting, as many airports have found out. Runways built and pointed to the magnetic north are now way off centre due to this shift. So we had organic, higher developed souls pave the way and prepare for the full return of organic life here and the planet's restoration to organic life. That will have consequences for the inorganics that are left here. Phasing and shifting will increase.